Hello everyone, I'm here with a video. Sorry about my voice. And I'm in a new area. This is where you see for my vlogs. But this is underneath my loft and this is my wrap up. And I have a lot of books and I don't necessarily want to haul them up there. So yeah. Overall, I read 16 books in June. I was bored and it's quarantine, and none of them I hated, which is always nice. But yeah, let's get it on with it. Yeah, so the first book that I read, and it was an audiobook. I'll put that there. But that was Anna K by Jenny Lee. If you don't know what this book is about, it is about it's an Anna Karenina retelling. I've never read Anna Karenina. And it's just been on my radar since I saw it on Book of the Month, and I did not choose it as my Book of the Month. Yeah, and I just listened to that audiobook. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I found it very entertaining and very fast-paced, and I was very connected to the characters, and overall, I did give it 4.5 stars. It's one of the better contemporaries I read this year, and yeah. That's the first one I read. And then, I don't really know how to do wrap-ups, but yeah. The next book that I read was The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. This is the first book in his Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. As you'll see, I've read more. But, and this basically follows a girl named Lyra who, has to try to help find her friend that's being kidnapped by scientists. It's kind of confusing unless you read it, but overall, I got these books for Christmas because that was the thing that I recommended because I saw the HBO TV series and I really loved it. But I haven't read it. I only read it in June because I loved the series so much that I was really will it be good enough? Yeah, but overall, I really did. I really love this. I love the world. I love the characters. I love the his dive on souls and that type of stuff. Overall, I really enjoyed this, and I gave it 5 stars. Okay, we're making our way. The next book I read was an audiobook, and that was The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. And this is the first book in the Raven Cycle series. And this is a reread because I read it in September, but I never picked up the series again, so I listened to the audiobook again. Okay, and overall, I really enjoyed it. It was a very, I liked the characters as much as I did, and the plot was interesting. It's basically about 4 or 5 people who are looking for a dead Welsh king. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, and I gave 4 stars. The next book I read. Did I read a physical book I think I read a physical book. And that was, oh my gosh, one of the longest I read this month, and that was Furyborn by Claire LeGrand. I have the first 2 books in the series on my shelf, and I'm looking forward to the third one. And this is basically about two girls that are separated by centuries, and one's a princess with, very high fantasy, high fantasy. And I did really enjoy it. Overall I gave it 4 stars. The only, not problem, but the only thing that I did not necessarily enjoy about it was that I preferred one character's POV over another's, and I really did not connect with one character's POV. But overall, I really did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars, and I'm looking forward to read the next book. We're going through this speedily. The next book that I read was an audiobook, and that was The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the series, and this is basically the aftermath of the Raven Boys, and it follows 7 characters. and I enjoyed it just the same, and it was very interesting. I enjoyed more of the world building and the characters arcs, and yeah, overall I did really enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the next book that I think I read this in like 2 days, and this is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I really, really, really loved it. It was very harrowing and amazing, and then I read it on my Kindle, and that was Parachutes by Kelly Yang, and this was absolutely incredible. This, if you don't know, this is a book about 2 girls, Claire and Danny, who basically fall into each other's life when Claire is shipped off from Hong Kong, no, not Hong Kong, Shanghai, to California to study abroad. And basically, this book. It was absolutely beautiful, and it just has some harrowing topics of sexual harassment and sexual assault, and it was just such a way that I cried so much in this book. And yeah, overall I did give this one 5 stars. The next book I read and that was The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Dokuda Hall. And this is another most anticipated book of 2020, and I did overall think this was good. Yeah. So before I tell you more about this, I'm just saying that this is like a disclaimer saying that my ratings is 3 stars, I think it's okay. 3.5 stars, I think it's good. 4 stars, I think it's great. 4.5 stars, I think it's amazing. 5 stars, I'm in love with it. So when I do a book that is 3 or 5 stars, 3 or 3.5 stars, this does not mean I don't like it. It means I either think it was an okay book or I thought it was a good book. So for The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea, I gave this one 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it. I just did not did not feel like a plain read. I just did not connect to it. And I really did not, this just felt like a very run-of-the-mill fantasy, which I know lots of people will love this, and yeah, but overall I did enjoy it, and I gave it 3.5 stars. The next book that I read was an audiobook, and that was the 3rd book in the Raven Cycle series, and that was Blue Lily Lily Blue. Wow. I listened to the audiobook of this, and I did really, really enjoy this much more than the first 2, and I gave it 4.5 stars, and I just felt like it was much more intriguing, and it was much more darker of the Raven cycle that I haven't been seeing, and and overall I really, really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. This is a sequel to the Golden Compass, and this basically follows after, and it follows another character named Will, and they basically have this knife that can go through worlds, and yeah. Overall, I did enjoy this. I did not love it as much as the Golden Compass, just because I did feel like this suffered from middle book syndrome, and I really didn't feel like this was its own book. Yeah, but I still enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars. The next thing that I listened to was an audiobook, and that was Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna Maguire. And this basically is the 3rd book in the We Were Children series, and I love this one so much. It's just so whimsy. This one was very whimsy, and it was not like this first one was very like a book about the aftermath of stuff, and the second one was about really origin. This one was really about just a whimsy, fun, a kind of dark book that I just loved and so much. It was such an amazing book, and I overall did give this one 5 stars. Okay, the next book that I read, these 2 next books that I read for a reread because I have a whole video on it. I'll put it in my, but this is my Nevermore reread, and I read both of them. And the first one I read Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow again, and I love this one much more than I read. I still gave one 5 stars, but I love this one so much. I love Morgan, and I love the it was just so good. And yeah, for both of these I gave 5 stars. I loved this one, and I loved this one so much. It just overall such an amazing middle grade series that is amazing. Okay, as it falls. Okay, the next thing that I listened to Song of Wraiths and Ruin by crud. I forget the name of the person with the audiobook. And overall, I did enjoy this one, and it basically follows 2 people who have to kill each other. That intrigued me, but sometimes for audiobooks, I don't really get connected to the story, and it's just turns into white music while I either work out or play my DS. So that's what it fell through to this one. I did enjoy the premise and the characters, but I didn't really connect to the actual story and the actual author. But I did enjoy it, and I gave it 3.5 stars. The next thing that I read was in my Kindle, and this was like spur of the moment thing that I just found on my Kindle, and I'm like, let's read this, and that was Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. And this was so beautiful and so amazing, and this basically follows Felix, who is transgender, queer, and a demi-boy, and also black, and he basically it's set over June and beginning of September, and it's basically, and he is attending arts. He goes to an art school, but this is like summer school, and he's basically outed. He's not outed. He's dead named by someone, and he vows to take revenge, and it basically follows him falling in love, all this stuff, and it's a very beautiful book, and I did really enjoy it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Only reason I did not give it 5 stars was just because I really wanted some closure of Felix, and I enjoyed Felix so much as a character that I wanted to know really that his story wasn't just about love, it was about like him, and I wanted really security for him, and I just wanted a little more. But overall I really did enjoy it. The last audiobook that I read in June was In an Absent Dream by Libby, by Shauna McGuire. This is the 4th book in the We Were Children series, and this one is my favorite one so much. It follows Lundy and so many new characters, and it's in the Goblin Market, and I love the Goblin Market so much. It's just amazing. I loved it so much. Yeah, favorite book of the month. 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah. Okay, the last book that I read is the conclusion to His Dark Material series. So I read an entire series this month. Go me. And overall, I really enjoyed this. This basically is the conclusion, and basically delves in so many things. But like one of the characters literally is his life mission to kill like the authority. That just seems so intriguing, and overall really good conclusion. I don't think I've seen conclusions. This is not one of my favorite series, but was not disappointing in the long haul. I feel like usually books are disappointing when the first couple books are 5 stars, but it drops. Dropped really low. This was not a disappointment. It was really fun to read, and I'm really excited to pick up the Book of Dust and the next book. I forgot what that one is. Yeah. And I gave this one 4 stars. That is all the books I've read in June of 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah. I think I read like 16 books, and I enjoyed all of them. There was no book that I was like, instead of last month, which had the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes, so that was awful. But yeah, bye. Thank you for watching this video.